Welcome, dear students. Welcome once again in this YouTube video lecture series. This is going to be the second lecture in this series on the topic of GK, general knowledge. And in today's introductory lecture on Indian economy, we are going to look at a very important topic. And that topic is related to the famous economists from India. So in today's lecture, we are going to look at the names, contributions, books written by these economists, and some other major works by some of the most famous Indian economists. Now, I have included some 10-15 most important, most well-known of economists from India in this list. And some of those economists are from yesteryears, that is the economists from pre-independence period. All right. While majority of these economists are from contemporary period or modern period. Correct. So without wasting time, let us begin our lecture with the first economist in this list, which is Kautilya. Correct. Now, probably you know that Kautilya is also known as Chanakya. It's the same person. He is also known as Vishnugupta. All right. Now, Chanakya or Kautilya is a very famous Indian teacher, philosopher, and diplomat. He was one of the chief advisors of Chandragupta Maurya. He was one of the advisors of Chandragupta Maurya. And he wrote a very famous book titled Arthashastra. Correct. Arthashastra is basically the Hindi term for economics. So economics, the study or science of economics in Hindi is called as Arthashastra. All right. So this is a very famous book by Chanakya. This book was written sometime around 4th century BCE, and it's a very comprehensive and systematic book. The book is approximately 400 pages thick, and it is divided into 15 different chapters. It covers almost all the aspects of theory and practice of economics. So Arthashastra is a very detailed account of the political, social, and military organization of Mauryan Empire. Correct. This book is also an idea about the welfare state that Kautilya has included in his work. Correct. So please remember, Kautilya was one of the most prominent and one of the earliest economists or one of the earliest thinker and philosopher who spoke about the importance and need of managing economy of a state, economy of a country in a proper manner. So this is why I have included Kautilya as the first economist in this list. Okay. Now, moving on from Kautilya, the next in this list is another economist from pre-independence period, Dadabhai Naoroji. Dadabhai Naoroji was a writer, a scholar, and also a political leader. Correct? I'm sure you must have heard his name in your history textbooks. He is also known as the Grand Old Man of India for his effort towards the spread of nationalism during British period. Correct. As I told you, he was also a political leader. So he served as the president of Indian National Congress thrice. He was the president of Congress Party 3 times in 1893. So the 3 times he served as the president of Indian National Congress was 1893, 1896, and 1906. So he was president of Indian National Congress in these 3 years. All right, we will talk more about his role in the political sphere in Indian independence movement in our history lecture. As of now, let us focus on his contribution in the field of economics. So Dadabhai Naoroji was one of the most prominent Indian economists of the 19th century. All right, his idea on the economics in India were contained in his book titled as Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. The book was first published in 1901 and then it was later reprinted in 1962. All right, The Poverty and then British Rule in India was a book by Dadabhai Naoroji. So in this book, Naoroji analyzed the effects of British rule on Indian economy. He analyzed the impact of British rule on Indian economy, and he proposed his very famous theory of drain of wealth in this book. Correct. He pointed out how Britishers were causing the drain of Indian resources and generating poverty in India. He estimated that approximately 200 to 300 million British pound. So he estimated around 200 to 300 million pound of Indian revenue were taken out of India to Britain every single year, which resulted in economic growth of Britain, but which resulted simultaneously in great economic deprivation in British India. So in that sense, Dadabhai Naoroji was the first to present an economic criticism of British rule in India. Correct? So this is Dadabhai Naoroji's one big contribution in the sphere of economy during British Indian rule. All right. Another of Dadabhai Naoroji's contemporary was Romesh Chandra Dutt. Romesh Chandra Dutt. Now, while he was present in India around the same time as Dadabhai Naoroji, the only difference is that Dadabhai Naoroji was from Bombay, while Romesh Chandra Dutt was from Bengal. He was a very, very prominent. He came from a very prominent Bengali family. In fact, he was a civil servant. In 1869, he joined Indian Civil Services, or ICS, which is like the earlier version of IAS. Correct? This is like Indian Civil Services, which in its modern avatar is called as IAS. Correct? So Romesh Chandra Dutt was a civil servant. He was also a teacher, and he was also a political activist. Correct? So in 1869, as I told you, in 1869, he joined Indian Civil Services. However, in later years, he quit civil services and worked as a lecturer in the University of London. Now, his economic ideas, Ramesh Chandra Dutt was a very, very prominent economic historian of India, and his economic ideas are contained in two of the books that he has written. His ideas are contained in his two books, which are The Economic History of India and Famines in India. Correct? So these two books contain the central ideas, central economic ideas of Ramesh Chandra Dutt. The first book, Economic History of India. This particular book deals with the economics of colonization of India. All right. So the first book deals with the economics of colonization in India, while the second book deals with the condition of agriculture in India and the impact of reoccurring famines in India during British period. So this is Romesh Chandra Dutt and his two major books. All right. Moving on to another economist. He was also an economist from the British period, from the pre-independence period, though he was also active after independence also. His name was Dr. V.K.R.B. Rao. Just a second. Yeah, so he was Dr. V.K.R.B. Rao. Dr. Rao was an internationally renowned economist and educator. He was among the father figures of Indian economists of 20th century. Like the way I told you, Dadabhai Naoroji was one of the most prominent Indian economists in 19th century. So in 19th century, it was Dadabhai Naoroji. Correct. Similarly, in 20th century, it was Dr. V.K.R.B. Rao. Correct. One of the most famous, prominent and internationally acclaimed economist from India in the 20th century. During his active period, I'm talking about Dr. V.K. R.V. Rao. During his active period, he presided over many government committees. Yeah, he presided over many government committees. He was a chairman of many professional conferences and also handled the responsibility or also headed many government committees. Correct. For example, he was a chairman of, he was member of Planning Commission. He was a member of Planning Commission from 1963 to 1966. And he also served as a cabinet minister in Indira Gandhi's government in 1967 and then once again in 1969. Okay, so one of Dr. V.K. R.V. Rao's greatest contribution to Indian economics is that he started and ensured high quality of economic education and research in India, because he was the founder director of Delhi School of Economics, also the Institute of Economic Growth in Delhi, and he also served as the Vice Chancellor of Delhi University. So as the head or as the in charge of these educational institutes, he ensured top quality economic research and education in India. Correct. He is also regarded as the first Indian economist to calculate the national income of India in 1931-32. If you look at this, then the national income of British India 1931-1932, this was the title of his PhD thesis at Cambridge University. Correct. So in 1931, he was the first Indian economist to calculate national income of India. Correct. So this is Dr. V.K. R.V. Rao. Okay. Now let us look at some of the more recent and some of the more contemporary economists. We are going to start with Raja Chelaiya. Raja Chelaiya was also a prominent economist and the founder of Madras School of Economics. In 1993, he founded Madras School of Economics. He worked as a professor of economics at the University of Rajasthan in Jaipur and also Osmania University in Hyderabad before he was invited to work with International Monetary Fund as the chief of their fiscal analysis division in 1969. So he had worked with IMF. Later, he also served as the member of Planning Commission, correct, and also Finance Commission, correct. In 1991, he was appointed as the chairman of Tax Reforms Committee by the then Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao. Correct. So in 1991, please remember 1991 was a period when India was going through a lot of reforms and a lot of changes in our economic structure. Correct. So P.V. Narasimha Rao, the then Prime Minister, appointed Raja Chelaiya. Raja Chelaiya was appointed as the chairman of Tax Reforms Committee in 1991. This committee's report became the basis for future taxation system of India, and therefore Raja Chelaiya is often called as the father of tax reforms in India. So this particular bit is important for your exam. Remember that Raja Chelaiya is known as father of tax reforms in India. I told you the reason why has he been called by this title, correct? Because the taxation system of India currently was based on recommendation by a committee which was headed by Raja Chelaiya, correct? All right. Moving on. Okay. Next in the list of prominent economists are, next in this list is Professor Amartya Sen. All right. Professor Amartya Sen is one of the most well-known Indian economist globally. He is also the first Indian to win Nobel Prize in economist. I'm sorry. He is a very famous Indian economist and philosopher, and also the first person of Indian origin to win a Nobel Prize in economics in 1998 for his work in the field of welfare economics. Correct. He is also a winner of Bharat Ratna, which is the highest award in India, in 1999. Dr. Sen has made significant contributions in the field of welfare economics, developmental economics, and economic and social justice, especially in the areas of public health and education. One of his most pioneering work is the concept of Human Development Index, or HDI. Human Development Index, or HDI. All right. So Human Development Index is a measure. It's an estimation of the standard of life of average citizens in a country, and this index is made up of three parameters. The index is made up of three parameters, which are per capita income, level of education and knowledge, and also the level of healthcare facilities, which are generally measured through life expectancy, average life expectancy in a country. So life expectancy is a good indicator of the standard of healthcare facility in a country. All right. So this is one of his biggest contribution in the field of economics, the development of this concept of HDI. All right. United Nations Development Program, or UNDP, it releases an annual HDI report. In this report, countries are ranked from top to the bottom on the basis of their HDI scores. So according to the latest report, Norway is the country ranked 1 in this list, while India dropped by 1 place and is now at rank number 131 out of total 189 countries. Correct? So this is India's rank in HDI 2020, which was released in December last year. So this is the latest ranking of India in HDI. All right. So this entire concept of measuring the countries on the in terms of standard of life of their citizen was developed by Amartya Sen. All right. Other than that, Amartya Sen has written a lot of books. He is currently a professor of economics and philosophy at Harvard University and a very prolific writer. He has written many books. I have listed down 3 of his most important and most well-known books. These are The Argumentative Indian, Idea of Justice, and An Uncertain Glory, Contradictions of Modern India. So this is Professor Amartya Sen, the first Indian Nobel Prize winner in economics. From Professor Amartya Sen, we are going to move on to the second Indian economist who is the winner of Nobel Prize. He is Abhijit Banerjee. So Abhijit Banerjee is the second Indian to win Nobel Prize in economics, and his achievement is more recent. He won this award in 2019. Correct. Abhijit Banerjee won Nobel Prize in 2019 along with his wife and colleague Esther Duflo and Michael Kramer. Correct. So Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo, they are husband-wife couple, and they are the 6th couple to win a Nobel Prize. So both husband-wife are professors at MIT, while Michael Kramer is from Harvard. All right. So the three of them, Abhijit Banerjee and his co-workers, they adopted a new mechanism, or they adopted a new technique called as randomized control trial, or RCT, in their economic research. RCT is similar to clinical trials that is used in medical sciences or medical research. Correct? So what Abhijit Banerjee and his team has done is that they have introduced scientific experimentation or scientific methods in economics, which is primarily a social science. Correct? Okay. So as I already told you, Abhijit Banerjee and his wife, they are professors at MIT. Abhijit Banerjee is also one of the co-founders of Abdul Latif Jameel Poverty Action Lab, also known as JPEL, at MIT. All right. JPEL is a global research center for poverty alleviation using the scientific approach and scientific evidences. All right. So this is about Abhijit Banerjee. Let us look at some of the most famous books written by Abhijit Banerjee. So I have listed down three of those. Good Economics for Bad Times, Making Aid Work, and Poor Economics, a Radical Rethinking of the Way to Fight Global Poverty. These are the three famous books by Abhijit Banerjee. Okay. So Amartya Sen and Abhijit Banerjee are the two Indian winners of Nobel Prize in Economics. Amartya Sen won it in 1998 and Abhijit Banerjee won it in 2019. All right. Amartya Sen won this award for his human development centric approach in economics, while Abhijit Banerjee was given Nobel Prize for introducing scientific vigor in economic research. All right, from Abhijit Banerjee, let us move on to Dr. Manmohan Singh. Dr. Manmohan Singh, all of you know, is a very well-known economist and also a politician. All right, so he has been the chief economic advisor of India, governor of RBI, and the chairman of or the vice chairman of Planning Commission. Along with that, he had also served as Union Finance Minister for 5 years in 1991 to 1996 under Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao. All right, I have mentioned P.V. Narasimha Rao when we were talking about Raja Chalaiya and the tax reform committee appointed in 1991. And at that time, I told you that 1991 was a phase when Indian economy was passing through some uh, very significant changes or very important reforms, which are called as economic reforms version first, also known as LPG reforms. Also known as LPG reforms. LPG here stands for liberalization. It is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Correct. So these reforms were introduced in India in 1991, and as the finance minister of India in 91, it was Manmohan Singh who was at the forefront of heralding these reforms in India. Correct. And this is why Dr. Manmohan Singh is given the credit as the initiator of first phase of economic reforms in India, or the one who liberalized Indian economy in 1991. Correct. Another fact which is known to all of you is that he also served as Prime Minister of India for 10 years from 2004 to 2014. So before Narendra Modi became Prime Minister in 2014, it was Dr. Manmohan Singh as the Prime Minister of UPA government or Congress-led government. Correct? So this is Dr. Manmohan Singh, the economist. Let us look at few other economists. Okay, another economist is Professor Jagdish Bhagwati. Professor Jagdish Bhagwati is a professor of economics at Columbia University. All right. He is a great supporter of free trade and liberalized market economy. And in that sense, he is actually an ideological opponent of Amartya Sen. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me write it here. So Amartya Sen and Jagdish Bhagwati. Both of them are professor of economics, one at Harvard, another at Columbia University, and both of them are ideological opponent. In the sense that Jagdish Bhagwati is a supporter of government non-interference in market, or government's non-interference in the economy. Exactly opposite of that, Amartya Sen actually is in favor of greater government involvement in economy. Correct. So in that sense, these two are the two opposite poles of economic philosophies in India. Correct. And the debate between Amartya Sen and Jagdish Bhagwati is one of the most engaging economic discourse and economic debate in India. Correct. Another point of interest for law aspirants especially can be that Jagdish Bhagwati is the brother of former Chief Justice of India, Justice P.N. Bhagwati. Correct. And I'm mentioning Justice P.N. Bhagwati here because Justice P.N. Bhagwati was one of the pioneers of public interest litigations in Indian judicial or Indian legal field. Correct. So public interest litigation, or PIL. The system of PIL became popular when Justice P.N. Bhagwati was the Chief Justice of India. Correct. So this is Professor Jagdish Bhagwati and his connection with Justice P.N. Bhagwati. Before moving on to the next economist, let us look at some of the important books written by some of the important books written by Professor Jagdish Bhagwati. So if you look at the title of the second book, In Defense of Globalization, so you will be able to understand that why did I say that he is a supporter of free trade and market liberalization. All right. And his another book is Why Growth Matters. All right. So this is Professor Jagdish Bhagwati. Moving on to next name, Bimal Jalan. Bimal Jalan is a former RBI governor. He had served RBI. He has served as the governor of RBI for 7 years, from 1997 to 2004. Correct. It was during his time as the governor in RBI that 1,000 rupees denomination note was introduced in India. Rupees 1,000 note was introduced in India. Correct. Bimal Jalan was recently in news because he was appointed as the chairman of a committee by RBI. This was a committee to review the ECF framework, or Economic Capital Framework of RBI. ECF, or Economic Capital Framework, is the same framework according to which now RBI is transferring its surplus to central government. Correct. Recently, RBI has transferred 99,000 crore rupees approximately to Union government as a surplus. Correct. So this surplus is being transferred to Union government under the framework developed by Bimal Jalan committee. So please remember that also. Okay. Now let us look at some of the books by Bimal Jalan. All right. So once again, I've mentioned the names of three most famous books by him: Indian Economy, Problems and Prospects, India's Economic Policy, Preparing for the 21st Century, and India's Politics, A View from the Backbench. So this is Bimal Jalan, former RBI governor. Next on this list is C. Rangarajan, another former RBI governor. So C. Rangarajan was governor of RBI from 92 to 97. He has also served as the chairman of 12th Finance Commission and also the chairman of Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council from 2009 to 2014. That is during the period when Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister. So C. Rangarajan was the principal economic advisor to Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. All right, so this is C. Rangarajan. C. Rangarajan has also taught at several places because he was also a teacher. So he taught at many universities and institutes, including IIM Ahmedabad, including Indian Statistical Institute, and also the University of Pennsylvania. All right, another important point that we must know about C. Rangarajan is that the current method of poverty estimation in India was suggested by a committee headed by C. Rangarajan. So C. Rangarajan was appointed the head of a committee for poverty estimation method in 2014. Correct. And the committee gave a new poverty threshold. So according to the new definition, any person spending less than 47 rupees in a city or less than 32 rupees in a village. If someone is spending less than this, then those person will be declared as BPL or below poverty. Correct. So this daily spending. So please remember, this is daily spending. Correct. And daily spending are differentiated between urban and rural areas. And this has been made the limit or the threshold for declaring someone as BPL. Correct. So remember that this threshold, this limit or this method was given by Rangarajan committee in 2014. Okay. Next name in this list is Raghuram Rajan. Raghuram Rajan is a former RBI governor. He is currently a professor of finance. He's currently a professor of finance at University of Chicago, Booth School of Business. He is a former RBI governor. All right. So he has served as governor of RBI from 2013 to 2016. Before that, he was chief economic advisor of India, and he was also the first Indian to become chief economist at IMF. He was the first Indian to be appointed as chief economist at IMF in 2003. Correct. Raghuram Rajan was also one of the very few economists who could correctly or accurately predict global financial crisis of 2007 and 8. Global financial crisis of 2007-8, which is sometimes also known as subprime crisis. Correct. So Raghuram Rajan, since 2005, in his writing, was warning about the growing risk to the financial system, and he even suggested the methods or measures to be adopted to reduce these risks. but his warnings were ignored by the federal authorities in federal treasury authorities in USA, and that resulted in global financial crisis or recession. So Raghuram Rajan was one of the very, very few and rare persons who was able to predict economic recession in 2008. In 2016, Raghuram Rajan was included in 100 most influential people in the world list by Time magazine. Raghuram Rajan has also written many books. I have included 4 of the most important books here. Saving Capitalism from Capitalists, Third Pillar, I Do What I Do, and What the Economy Needs Now. This is Raghuram Rajan's latest book. And this I Do What I Do is his book about his years as RBI governor. Correct. And in this book, he has also mentioned about the proposal of demonetization that came to him when he was governor of RBI. Correct. So if you want to know more about Raghuram Rajan's view on demonetization that took place in India in November 2016, you go and check this book. This is a very interesting book. You should go and check. You should go and read this book. All right. After Raghuram Rajan, let me talk about another of Raghuram Rajan's classmate from IIM Ahmedabad, Arvind Subramanian. Arvind Subramanian is currently a professor at Brown University in USA. Brown University is a private Ivy League university in US. So Arvind Subramanian was the former chief economic advisor of India. He served as chief economic advisor from 2014 to 2018, which means during Narendra Modi's period as prime minister for the first time. So when Narendra Modi became prime minister for the first time in 2014, Arvind Subramanian was appointed as chief economic advisor of India. Correct. And while he was the chief economic advisor, he raised the prestige and quality of work done by his office during his tenure. Arvind Subramanian is now succeeded by, Arvind Subramanian resigned in December 2018. He resigned in June 2018. Arvind Subramanian resigned in June 2018. And then from December 2018, Krishnamurthy Subramanian, another Subramanian, is now the economic advisor of India. Correct? So Krishnamurthy Subramanian is economic advisor of India since 2018. And before him, Arvind Subramanian was economic advisor of India from 2014 to 18. This is to say that Arvind Subramanian was chief economic advisor of India during the first tenure of Narendra Modi as prime minister, and Krishnamurthy Subramanian is the chief economic advisor of India during the second tenure of Narendra Modi as prime minister. Okay, Arvind Subramanian was recently in news because of a controversy. Correct. Recently, in the month of March, Arvind Subramanian resigned from Ashoka University, where he was serving as professor of economics. And Arvind Subramanian resigned in support of Professor Pratap Bhanu Mehta. Pratap Bhanu Mehta. Correct. Pratap Bhanu Mehta was the former vice chancellor of Ashoka University and a professor of political science in Ashoka University. Professor Pratap Bhanu Mehta resigned from Ashoka University, and his resignation was followed by Arvind Subramanian's resignation. Both of them resigned from Ashoka for Ashoka University's failure to protect the freedom of expression of the professors there. So after resigning from Ashoka University from 1st of July, Arvind Subramanian will join Brown University. So he will join Brown University from July this year. Correct. So this is the recent controversy where he resigned from Ashoka. And after very recently, I think just last week, it was announced that Arvind Subramanian has joined Economic Advisory Council of Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister, M.K. Stalin. Correct. And Arvind Subramaniam is also joined by Raghuram Rajan and Esther Duflo. Esther Duflo, if you remember, was a wife and Nobel Prize winner for economics. She is the wife of Abhijit Banerjee and also a fellow Nobel Prize winner. So Arvind Subramaniam, Raghuram Rajan, and Esther Duflo are three members appointed to Economic Advisory Council of Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister recently. All right, so this is about Arvind Subramaniam. Next, okay, these are some of the books written by him. India's Turn, Understanding the Economic Transformation, Eclipse, Living in the Shadow of China's Economic Dominance, and Off Council, The Challenges of Modi-Jaitley Economy. Okay? Because Jaitley was the finance minister, Arun Jaitley was finance minister when Arvind Subramaniam was the chief economic advisor. All right, so this is why Challenges of Modi-Jaitley times. Okay, so this is Arvind Subramaniam. Next in this list is Bibek Debroy. Bibek Debroy is the current chairman of Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council, correct? Which means he's the chief advisor of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's the chief advisor of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in economic matters, correct? All right. He is also a former member of Niti Aayog. So from the foundation of Niti Aayog in 2015 to 2019, he served as one of the permanent members of Niti Aayog. Correct. In 2019, he resigned from Niti Aayog, citing advancing age and ill health. Bibek Debroy is a very prolific writer. He has written multiple books on economics, and he is greatly interested in Indology, Hindu studies, and translating Sanskrit texts from Sanskrit to English. So he has translated Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, Vedas, and Puranas. Correct? In fact, he is mentioned in Limca Book of Records as one of the most prolific translator of religious texts from Sanskrit to English. So Bibek Debroy, Prime Minister's economic advisor and a former member of Niti Aayog. Okay. Next is Kaushik Basu. Kaushik Basu is a prominent Indian American economist. He's a prominent Indian American economist and currently a professor of economics at Cornell University. He has also served as Chief Economic Advisor of India from 2009 to 2012, which is during Manmohan Singh's period. Correct. And he was also the first Indian to be appointed as Chief Economist at World Bank. So please pay attention here that while we mentioned Raghuram Rajan, we said that Raghuram Rajan was the first Indian economist, first Indian to be appointed as Chief Economist of IMF. So Raghuram Rajan was Chief Economist at IMF. All right. So Raghuram Rajan was the first Indian to be appointed as Chief Economist at IMF. And Kaushik Basu is the first Indian to be appointed as Chief Economist at World Bank. All right. So please remember these two facts separately. Okay, so and Kaushik Basu has written many books. These are some of those. Beyond the Invisible Hand, Prelude to Political Economy, Economic Graffiti, Essays for Everyone, and The Republic of Beliefs. Kaushik Basu. Next in this list is another very prominent Indian American economist, Geeta Gopinath. Geeta Gopinath is currently a professor of economics at Harvard University, but she is currently on leave from Harvard because in January 2019, she was appointed as the chief economist at IMF. correct? So she has become the first female ever to be appointed to this post, and second Indian after Raghuram Rajan to hold the post of chief economist at IMF. Correct? So remember about Geeta Gopinath also. Okay. All right. So Rajiv Kumar is going to be the last economist that we will look at in today's lecture. Rajiv Kumar is current vice chairman of Niti Aayog. So in that sense, he is a key figure in India's economic policy uh, thinking. He's the vice chairman of Niti Aayog. Let me very briefly tell you about Niti Aayog before I come back to Rajiv Kumar. So Niti Aayog is a replacement of Planning Commission. It's a replacement of Planning Commission. It was set up in 2015. Correct? Niti, the word Niti stands for National Institute for Transforming India. National Institute for Transforming India. And this is a major economic policy think tank. Correct? So very quickly, if I tell you about the office holders in Niti Aayog or position holders in Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog, the chairman of Niti Aayog is Prime Minister. Correct? And vice chairman is Professor Rajiv Kumar. Correct? So Professor Rajiv Kumar is the vice chairman or the expert economist in Niti Aayog is the one who makes or who is the brain behind a lot of current economic policies in India. Correct. So this is Rajiv Kumar. Rajiv Kumar, along with being the vice chairman of Niti Aayog, is also the chancellor of Gokhale Institute of Economics and Politics in Pune. He is a trained economist he had completed his MA in economics from Allahabad University and earned his PhD from Oxford. Correct. He has written many books. Out of these, the two most famous ones are Exploding Aspirations, Unlocking India's Future, and Resurgent India, Needs and Priorities. All right. So this is it for today's lecture, guys. In today's lecture, I think we spoke about approximately 15 famous economists from India. Some of them were pre-independence economists, some of them were recent economists, some of them were official position holder in government's economic policy infrastructure. Correct? You must have noticed that for every economist or for almost all the economists, I have also mentioned the names of the famous books written by them. I'm stressing on books here because the names of the books and their authors is a very commonly asked question in exam. Correct? Along with that, if they have won any major awards, I've mentioned that also, or if they have given any new concept or idea, I have mentioned that also. For example, ideas like HDI, ideas like randomized control trials, and so on. Correct? So I hope you will be able to get some clarity about the roles played by some of these economists. And I also hope that you will remember and use this information in your exams and in your knowledge enhancement. Correct. So with this, guys, I conclude this lecture. Before leaving, let me show you some of the offerings by Endeavor Careers, some of the offerings which can be of help to you in your preparation. We have courses helpful for law exams, CLAT Comprehensive and CLAT Advantage. Correct. Similarly, we have courses for BBA entrance examinations. Correct. So while these are called as CLAT and BBA or CLAT or IPM, these are helpful for all the law entrance examination other than CLAT, as well as all the BBA entrance examination other than IPM. Correct. So these are like complete packages. Features those are included in these courses are written here. You can pause the video and check the features here. All right. If you have any question, if you have any doubts related to any of these, please feel free either to send your queries in the comment box or to contact us. Please also visit this link. Visit this link because we have some of the scholarship offers going on. Plus, you can also get a taste of, you can also get a sample of all of these courses, videos, test series, and other study material by logging in, by registering yourself and logging in into Endeavor Careers portal. So I will urge all of you to visit this link. Correct? Visit this link, try it out. If you have any questions, any doubts, any queries, leave those queries either in the comment box or go to Endeavor's website. There is a contact us section there. You can contact us via phone, via email, via messages. So we are looking forward to having you on board, looking forward to be able to help you in your career and your exam preparation. Thank you very much. I'll end today's lecture with this. See you again.